Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today I want to share my thoughts and lessons and just things I've learned and thought about since I've had a buzz cut. About 3 months ago I shaved my head and I wanted to do that for a long time and I'm pretty happy I did it, but now I want to share what I learned. I mean, of course I had thoughts of like how it would be, and it is similar but also different. So let's start. And the first one, and that's actually one I didn't really think about before, is style. Did my style change or did the clothes change that I like to see myself in? And yes, actually, I realized that my head is just very small. So I do have one sweater that now looks so big, and in proportion to that sweater, my head is like so tiny, and I don't really, like, that looks different. So that is the only piece that I'm not as in love with anymore than I was before, but I'm sure like I can style it differently whenever I'm letting my hair grow, and I'm gonna talk about that a bit later. It's gonna be different again, but that's just one thing I realized, like the lack of hair that made my head look bigger or just made it appear like that there's more here, made me look like my head looks so tiny and weird in that big sweater. But for other things, I don't wear makeup and I don't wear jewelry in general, and I'm gonna link you the videos where I talk about that up here, but therefore I didn't really change anything in that way, because I know a lot of people, when they shave their head, when they have a buzz cut, they start experimenting a lot more with makeup and earrings and things like that because you can see them better. And I totally understand that, and I really like the look, but for me I just decided to stick with what I've been doing for the past years and not wear makeup or jewelry. But with that, I want to talk about looking feminine. And I did realize after shaving my head and now having a buzz cut that I don't have that many feminine features. And I mean, with long hair and dressing feminine or something like that, maybe I don't dress super feminine, but with long hair, it was a lot more obvious that I'm a girl. But I have to say, I don't really care. Like, I want to be myself. I am a woman. I identify as female and as a woman, and I'm happy to look the way I look with short hair as well. And that looks different from other girls I've seen with shaved heads. But again, that's just how I look, and I like myself with short hair too, and so that hasn't really been a problem for me. Now, the third thing I want to talk about are insecurities. Do I have any insecurities? Is there something that I was fearing would happen? Did something happen that made me like question and not feel as good about myself with short hair? And I didn't like fear that anything would happen or that I would be very insecure, but I want to talk about two things that I realized after shaving my head. The first time I shaved my head, I shaved it down to a grade 3, which is 9mm if you are more familiar with the metric system, and I felt comfortable with that. But like the second time, after 3.5 weeks, I realized that I really need to shave again. Oh, like, just so you know, I shaved my head 3 times since, and the first time to 8mm, which is a little bit less than grade 3, and this other 2 times to grade 3. Now that first time, I just thought when I make my hair shorter, I can wait for longer until I need to cut it again. But I really realized with like 8mm, with that hair that is just a tiny little bit shorter, I didn't really like it that much anymore. Like, that was just really, I felt like there was suddenly actually no hair on my head, and I just didn't like myself as much with that a little bit shorter hair. But when the hair is so short, like 2 or 3 days later, I was at a grade 3 again. So it wasn't terrible. And the other thing is what happened like just after I shaved my head. And since then, I actually had less problems with that than I had before I shaved my head. And that is my skin. For the past years, like since I've been a teenager, I always had pimples here and there, but my skin, I never had really like big acne problems or something like that. But so right after I shaved my head, I just had a few pimples, and that sometimes is because of stress, because of hormonal changes, because of the weather. Like, there are so many different reasons, because of what I eat, and I haven't figured it out completely, but I just had some pimples. And I realized that with the shorter hair, they were a lot more visible. And therefore I felt a bit insecure because I thought like, wow, they are so prominent now, you can see them so well, and with a little bit more hair they wouldn't be as prominent, you wouldn't see them as clearly, or the focus would not lie on them as much. But since then I actually had better skin than the last few years, I think, and maybe it has to do with washing my hair more often, so just my skin on my face is not in contact with as many like oils from my hair or something like that. Or it's just because I don't touch my face as much, because I don't need to like brush hair out of my face, or I don't know. My skin has been great, and so I'll take that, and I'm happy about that. And for insecurities in general, I want to say like these were two very minor things. I now know that I just want to cut it to a grade 3, and I like skin issues they are not great, but on the other hand, I know it happens, and therefore it hasn't been a huge problem. Now I want to talk about reactions, and there we really have like, I think, 2 different kinds of reactions. Now, of course, here on YouTube, the vast majority of you were positively surprised or left really, really nice comments. Now, of course, I think if you think like, nah, it doesn't look that great, you maybe don't comment. So I got a lot of comments saying that it looks great, that people wish they had the courage to do it themselves, that, things like that. And of course, I got a few comments saying like, oh, I liked your other hair better. Why did you shave it off? Please let it grow in again. And I mean, that's opinions of people, and that's totally fine. In my real life, I think it's fun. It's a bit funny to see, because people oftentimes are like, oh, and you really see that they want to say something, but they don't really know what to say, because they're like, it looks nice. And then they want to ask why I did it, and then I don't really have a good reason. I want to donate my hair, and I felt like shaving it off because I want to experience it, and because I want to like get rid of the hair and see how it feels living with no real haircut to take care of. And that is interesting to like see that everybody kind of wants to say something about it. When they see like, oh, she suddenly has short hair, they feel like you need to say something, but there's nothing you need to say. Like, there's nothing you can say. Or of course you can say like, it looks nice or interesting, why did you do it? But it's like, I don't know, because I felt like it. And the other thing is that just very few individuals, like, they took my hair as a reason to call me ugly, not feminine, mentally ill, things like that. But like, the hair is not the reason for that. That was just one thing they could take to talk about it. But it's like, you can find something like that all the time. It could be how I talk. It could be how I move. It could be the topics of my video. It could be how my skin looks, how the colors are that I choose to wear. Like, I don't think it had anything to do with the hair, but it was just to take something. And I realized that, of course, with this hair being short and being like kind of outside of the norm still, even if there are so many women with short hair nowadays, and I hope in the future more women can have short hair if they want to, it's still something that's a bit outside of the norm. So people would, of course, pick that one thing to bully me or to write mean comments. But I don't think it had anything to do with the hair. But of course, you have to be aware of that. If you shave your head, maybe people are going to take that as a reason to bully you. What I want to talk about as well is stereotypes. So I think the stereotypes for short hair are: you are sick, you are not a woman, there's something wrong with you, you are homosexual or trans or things like that. And I'm none of these. But I think it's important that all kinds of women have short hair, so that people can see that there's nothing, that the hair does really not indicate any of these things. And these are just stereotypes that I think and I hope we can loosen up in the future so that the hair is just hair. And of course I get it. If you had cancer and if you go through a chemotherapy, you maybe lose your hair depending on the chemotherapy you get. I did have cancer as a kid when I was 4 years old and I lost my hair. So that is of course one reason why a woman could have short hair if she otherwise prefers to have long hair. But in most cases, I think we don't have to think of a sick person if we see a person with short hair. And I really just hope that this huge difference between women and men with short hair goes away, because I think we're all humans and we can all have our hair the way we want. I think men can have long hair, I think women can have short hair. I think every person should just be allowed to decide for themselves which color, length, hairstyle they want to have. Of course, excluding kind of the whole cultural appropriation, I think that's another topic. But for like the length of your hair, I really think every person should be able to decide that for themselves without other people judging them or thinking that suddenly their sexual orientation has changed or that they are not healthy anymore. So now I want to draw a conclusion of what I'm gonna do next, how I'm feeling with short hair, and what I think maybe you should do if you're considering shaving your head. So I have to say, apart from like these few things that are kind of weird that I experience, people talking about my hair, people thinking my hair is such an important topic to talk about, I loved it. I think it's great because I actually have a lot of time where I just can forget about my hair. I don't have to care about my hair. I don't have to care about how it looks and things like that. And while in the beginning I maybe would like touch my hair because it feels like fun and great and different, I now like I don't think I touch my hair a lot. I can just live my life not having to think about hair, and that of course is my personal choice. I don't totally understand if you have long hair and if you love your hair, if you love to style it, if you love to do things with it and think about it, look at it and things like that. But for myself, I think it has been great. And especially for the summer, it's just very practical because I don't have to, I really going into the shower, not having to care about if you make your hair wet and then it's drying for several hours. That's such a relief. I can just hop out of the shower, dry it off with a towel, and I'm ready to go, and it's practically dry already. And I do have to cut it again every 3 weeks, but that is, I think that these are like 10 minutes. And actually right now I just feel better with short hair. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep the short hair over the summer, but I'm also pretty sure, like I'm 99% sure that I'm gonna let it grow as well again. Like I already am looking forward to having a bob length hairstyle. We're gonna see how that's going, because one thing that I really don't want to have now and in the future is a hairstyle that I have to care a lot for, like that I have to wash every day because it looks strange when I get out of bed, where I have to use styling tools or different products to give it a certain shape. I do want to have a very uncomplicated haircut, and that's what I have at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna, want to have a different hairstyle at some time in the future. But for all of you who want to try it, I can highly suggest it. Maybe it's good if your most important people know, or if you know that they support you, but even if they don't, I think it must be your decision. I think you have to have the possibility to just make that decision for you. And hair is growing again. Like, of course you can regret it. Of course growing it out can be a bit of a painful thing because it takes a while and you have to get a lot of haircuts to make it look good, or you just don't care and let it grow out. But I think if you want to do it, go for it. Really. And I hope you can make that decision. And also I would be really interested in knowing if you've had short hair before, what you think about my short hair, if you would consider shaving your head, and just let me know all of these things. Also, if you haven't seen the video where I shaved my head, I'll link it for you up here as well to check it out. Now, if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. That would really help my channel. And if you want to see more videos right now, I'm going to link you a video here and a playlist here that you can watch if you have time to and if you want to. And I also hope to see you next time. Bye!